Hey everybody, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Straight Jacket White Rabbit. My name's Adam, I'll be your host. Imagine this. You're driving down a dark highway at night. No real traffic around, maybe light traffic. Now as you're cruising through the dark, following the road or the highway, you see an individual on the side of the road. Man, woman, elderly, young. The descriptions vary. Being the kind citizen that you are, you pull over to ask if they need assistance or a ride. Only to find that when you look back, the person is gone. No sight of them, no sign of them. And often, when checked upon outside of the vehicle, no physical signs, no footprints, no place they could have ran off to be out of sight. Just a confused driver and a person that we're not really sure was there or not. This is a case that people experience all around the world, believe it or not. Dozens and dozens of places here in the United States alone. Around the world, possibly hundreds, if not more than that. We're talking about the vanishing hitchhiker. Guys, the vanishing hitchhiker is a spirit seen all over the world, all ages, races, young, old. What causes these spirits to traverse along the highway? Is it maybe just past energy? Maybe it's not actually what we would consider to be an intelligent spirit. Residual energy, if you would. An imprint of a time in someone's life that held meaning, good or bad. A lot of these don't appear to be extremely intelligent. Some of them do speak directly to people, according to some stories. According to modern tellings of the story, the apparition has been known to actually get into people's cars before it does vanish on the way to wherever it is it asks to go. Now, you guys, this part of the story is relatively new. Keep in mind, this story has been around, these sightings have been around since predating actual automobiles, back from horseback and on. So I'm not sure of the validity. I can't say that it never happened, but it seems to be a more popular thing now in our culture, in our pop culture, especially in our movie culture. I think it's exaggerated for kicks in a lot of these instances. Once again, this is not me saying it's never happened to anybody, but I think it is, if it is happening, it's happening as a one-off or a rarity, let alone, or not necessarily something that's the standard. But that's if these things are residual energy or an imprint. You know, it could be good or bad, guys. We have a lot of dark stuff happen in our country that we don't particularly know about or talk about in civilized circles. Small fact for you who don't study the macabre. The majority of mass killers tend to work along highways and major roadways. They don't tend to be in one small area all the time. A lot of serial killers that go uncaptured actually use highway systems to pick out their victims because they span the entire stretch of our country. So, are these people victims who maybe hitchhikers who trusted the wrong person, got in the wrong car? Are these people who just got hit by a car on the side of the road? Maybe these people never got to where they were going on time, and whatever it was they were racing towards, be it they were going home or to see a loved one, Maybe they never made it. Maybe that's just an important time in their life that it imprinted its energy there. Now, that being said, there is the next theory, that these are omens. They are omens usually of something bad, unfortunately, considered. A lot of people believe these hitchhiker ghosts, the hitchhiker spirit, to be an omen of death. Somebody close to you, somebody you know, is going to die soon. Some people call it a warning, like a warning visage, like a warning spirit apparition. Some people call it a harbinger of doom, which was similar to what people were calling Mothman. These people believe that this is just an evil spirit, an evil entity, or a darker entity warning you of a tragedy that's incoming in your life, where you're going to unfortunately lose somebody. Now, I don't have any real numbers or statistics to back this up, because unfortunately we don't really do studies on things like people who see hitchhiker ghosts, who have someone close to them die. But there are reports of this happening to people who have seen the hitchhiker spirit. So perhaps to those people they are harbingers of doom, or, warning symbols. I don't put too much stock in the whole, messenger of doom thing. I think the world gives us enough to focus on to let us know when things are going bad or things are not right. I talk about ghost hunting a lot on this channel, you guys. One of the things I'm constantly talking about ghost hunting is listening to your body. Your body gives you all kinds of signals and cues and electrical vibes and just senses that something's off when something's near you. The human body, you guys, is amazing on just the grounds of how much we don't understand about what we're truly capable of. Now, if this is some kind of an omen, as I said, what is it for? Is it specifically for a death near you, like these people believe, like some people believe? Other people believe it's simply a bad luck omen. Now, I'm not one that likes to believe in luck. I believe, everybody makes their own luck. Your choices throughout your life make who you are. And I will, to some degree, say outside influences as well, obviously. But is this truly a bad omen creature or a death omen creature? There are examples of this in other folklore, different creatures that are supposed to be, bringers of doom or messengers of doom, like the banshee. I already said Mothman. They're all around the world. They have these things. But why then would you need multiple of them? Because people have seen the vanishing hitchhiker spirit in the same place the banshee is said to roam. So why would you need both? If they were both, harbingers of death, saying someone near you or yourself is going to die. To me, it makes more sense that these are either non-intelligent spirits that are just imprints of either tragedy or intense emotion. Now, there is a chance that these are intelligent spirits, which brings me to our third option. That this is I don't want to call it a punishment, but it could be. That's one of the ways we could go down. This could be some kind of a punishment for people in the afterlife. Constantly having to travel a road, unable to get to your destination. Forever walking the highways. And as much as I don't like to think of a god as a vengeful god or things of that nature, I don't like to think of anyone suffering for eternity, or let alone being tormented. Now, there are exceptions to those rules. Some people are evil. But there's a lot of reports of these vanishing hitchhikers. So if they're intelligent and they're being forced to walk the road, the next logical question is well, now what's compelling them to walk the roads forever? Is it God? Is it the devil? Is it just their karma to walk the earth, literally, via the highways? Now, these aren't always highways, so that might have been a little misleading. This has been reported on everything down to, jungle pathways. They haven't always been, like I said, about vehicles, guys. These legends started with people walking or people on horseback, just seeing a traveler on the road who would vanish. Over time, with different technology like automobiles and things, it's evolved. There have actually been reports of the vanishing hitchhiker in the airways, believe it or not. There have been numerous flight attendants and other airline workers who have seen mysterious passengers board their plane. Then when they tried to locate said passenger to check the validity of their ticket or their seat, they're always met with the same thing. A plane full of people, none of them is the person that they saw walk onto the plane. Are these ghosts branching out in the ways that they're moving around? Do ghosts legitimately travel? Are there ghosts that are able to travel using the highways? And when people stop, do they just know that they don't want to freak them out and stay quiet and not visible and simply travel with you to your next location? Now that one's a scary thought. I mean, I don't really want a ghost riding shotgun with me at all times. But these are the places you have to go when you're thinking about things like this. What if they're just using it as a way to get around? Ghosts, we know, can touch physical things. We know they can transfer and travel with certain things. So why wouldn't they be able to travel in a car, travel on a plane? Just because they're ethereal doesn't mean that they can't travel in one of our modes of transportation. So maybe they're legitimately looking for travel. Maybe they were looking for it when people were on horseback. Maybe when people were on foot, they were just looking for companionship. Someone to walk the road with them. I mean, I couldn't think of a worse thing than having to walk alone forever on dark, dusky back roads or other roads. This has been reported everywhere, guys, in the United States. I mean, literally, there's almost a sighting in every state. If there isn't a sighting in every state, it's really close. Some states have multiple different roads that are supposedly traveled by hitchhiking ghosts. One of the famous ones, Route 66. Another one is the Pacific Coast Highway out in California. All of these places, there's tons of them. The I-40, there's literally tons of haunted highways, roads, back roads that are all traveled by mysterious hitchhikers. And like I said, they don't always look the same. A lot of the accounts are completely varied from what the apparition looks like. So is this a trickster who can just change shapes and be here, there, and other places whenever they want? Is this truly multiple, must be thousands of spirits doomed to travel the back roads? Or is it, like I said, maybe they're using it as a highway to travel? Maybe only certain ghosts are stuck to certain locations or certain objects or attached to certain people. Maybe other ghosts can float as freely as they want about wherever they want. Now, all that being said, I want to emphasize this, guys. I don't ever recommend stopping at night for strangers, whether it's a ghost or not. Okay, be safe when you guys are out there. Like I said, I did security for a large part of my life. The last thing I'm advocating for is you guys stopping for some weirdo in the middle of the woods or some backcountry road. But maybe next time you see somebody as you're driving along the highway, take a double look in that rearview mirror. Make sure they're still there as you drive by, because they might have vanished. Another aspect of this that I find really interesting, you guys, is a lot of people's mistaken connectivity to the woman in white. The woman in white and the traditional hitchhiking spirits, or the disappearing hitchhiker, as they're known, the difference in stories and backgrounds of these spirits are so completely different, you guys. They're not the same thing. Okay, yes, the lady in white is often seen on the side of roadways. I get that. That part is similar. The cause behind them and the significance behind them is fairly different. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's actually only like a half a dozen descriptions of the lady in white, which is really weird. And they're all fairly like, I mean, when I say descriptions, I mean different descriptions. They're all very vague. They're all very, I mean, there are different races. But the general, what they're wearing, what they're doing, the actions that they're taking, crying, sometimes weeping into their hands, or just uncontrollable sobbing. There's a lot of different actions they do that are the exact same no matter what the spirit looks like. And what they never do, you guys, the woman in white has never claimed that I've ever heard of by any credible source to have gotten in anybody's car. Besides the episode of Supernatural she was on the TV show. But the woman in white that I know of, I've never heard any credible claims that she's gotten in anybody's car. I have heard claims where people have seen her on the side of the road and even heard her sobbing. But short of that, that's the only thing they have in common, you guys. They're usually not moving also. The lady in white tends to be in one spot, standing where she is, weeping. So yeah, different spirits caused by different things. I'll go into the lady in white mythology on another video, but these hitchhiking spirits, you guys, one of the last possibilities is one that is gaining a little bit more traction nowadays, is the demon. There are demons in this world, whether you want to call them demons or evil spirits, I don't care. There are bad entities in this world that prey on people. There is a new theory about the vanishing hitchhikers that they are these bad spirits who are simply looking for willing people and good people to prey upon. And what they supposedly do is, much like my other theories where they're just getting a ride and stuff, is when they vanish, they go back home with the individual who stopped, and they begin to cause misfortune and trouble. For those of you who don't know this, spirits can cause physical harm. They can cause people to get sick. And people laugh when I say this, and if you don't believe me, you don't believe me, you're right. But I know many people who were paranormal investigators who came down with very sudden illnesses right after a haunt near a malevolent entity. People who've developed chronic heart failure at oddly young ages, cancers, aggressive cancers out of nowhere, things of this nature. Bad energies can cause very bad effects. Now, that being said, I do believe there's ways to block them, and I don't believe anyone should really worry about it as long as you're strong inside. I've defined that on other videos. I'm not going to go into that again, but self-assured and solid in oneself and your beliefs is as deep as I'll go on that. But a lot of people are starting to believe, like I said, that these are these malevolent entities that are trying to find easy ways to feed on the good people. Because let's face it, if you're willing to stop in the middle of the night to help somebody out, to give them a ride, to ask them if they need help, you're probably a good person. At least a morally good person. I can see the logic there. Evil spirits tend to try to knock down good things. They tend to attack and attach themselves to good people more often than bad people. So, is it possible that these things are just demonic spirits using different forms and different shapes to entice different good people, good Samaritans, to pull over so that they can unsuspectedly follow that person home and cause the mischief, carnage, and chaos that they crave? Now, I would like to believe that that's not the case. I'd like to believe that these are possibly spirits just using us for transportation. That's the lighthearted side, guys. But as a whole, we have to look at the whole picture. We as investigators, you have to look at it from every side. And there is a possibility that these things could be of a menacing nature. There's an overwhelming report of people who see the hitchhiker who have something bad happen to them. Now, not necessarily illnesses or things like that, or deaths in the family or anything that, but bad luck. Odd things happening around their houses. There have been reports of these things. Now, we don't know how many. Could be dozens, could be hundreds, could be thousands. We don't know. We're barely in the time and age, guys, where people feel comfortable with disclosing these things, especially to people they don't know. We're barely getting in the time where people are starting to accept UAPs and UFOs, and those have been in our skies since the time of the ancients. I mean, I'm not really surprised it's taken us this long to start loosening up to the ideas of the spirit world and things, but we're getting there. We're getting closer. More people are becoming educated every day, thanks to all of the people who forefronted this experience for people on TV. Now, as I said, I was doing this before it was even on TV, as far as I'm aware. None of the Ghost Hunters International or any of the Ghost Adventurers, none of them were on TV when me and my friends were doing this for fun. But it's become a less taboo topic, and I believe the less taboo it gets, the more reports of this we're going to get, till we can eventually see a more full picture. Just like what's happening with the UFO UAP thing right now. You're getting a little bit of disclosure at first, then a little bit more, and now people are asking questions, and higher level people are asking questions. More important people to our governments are asking questions, and it's going to domino effect, and it keeps building, and it creates this curiosity in this mindset of, I want to know what's going on behind this, and that can move mountains, guys. Just that spark of interest can really do a lot. Now, that being said, sorry guys, needed a drink. That being said, I love that people pull over and help people. Be cautious and careful if you guys are going to pull over to help anybody in the middle of the night. You know, I have rules in my household. I've told my daughter and my wife and everyone else, you know, you don't pick people up on the side of the road unless you're with, you know, friends or something. And, you know, most of the time, I'd prefer me to be there if you're going to do it, is what I usually tell them. But I like that people try to help people, and I would love for people to continue to help people. I don't want to scare people off from doing that by telling you these things. I want you to be aware. The reason I tell people these things, oh yeah, it might be a malevolent spirit that's going to follow you home, is because it does happen, you guys. These things happen. We don't know what these hitchhiker spirits are. Some people are saying they're malevolent spirits. Other people are just saying they're lost traveling souls. But I think we can all agree, no matter what they are, they don't seem to be going anywhere as far as we can tell. Because there's more and more sightings of them, more and more reports of them. So, when will we discover what the true mystery behind the hitchhiker is? Where they're going and why? Are they being held there? Are they hunting us? Just remember the next time you're driving at night down a dark road, if you see somebody and you stop, they might not be there when you turn around. This has been Straight Jacket, White Rabbit. You guys have a good evening.